guys, today we'll be working on refinishing this gorgeous table. It's like a little table for entryway or a nightstand, and a client of mine said that she would just like this table to keep this table, but she would like it to fit more with her home style. So this is a sentimental piece to her husband's great grandmother. Well, was theirs, and now that they updated their furniture, they updated their house, they want to keep the sentimental value but not per se the look. So I will be using today the Paint and Primer Matte Black by Behr, which I love, and I will be using Varathane water-based sealer. So we will be going ahead and sanding pretty heavily on the top because it has some finishes on it that they don't like, and this I believe is this particle board that can be sanded and refinished. And we will be lightly sanding the bottom of it as well, and priming it and painting it. So this is the look of this table. It's kind of dark on that side. There you go. All right, without further ado, I will be starting.
Began the project with 40 grit sandpaper. The table had a lot of deep grooves and a lot of damage, so I started with the harsher grit for that reason. I started this project quite late the day before, and the little ones were tired, so I had to pause it. But here I am the next day. Fresh snow had fallen and it was a little bit chilly, but work needed to be done, and more than that, I was very, very excited to just have some me time, work on something I love, get this done for my client. During the initial assessment of that table, I thought that the top was some sort of a particle board or maybe veneer. However, as I got closer to it, I started noticing that it was made of some sort of a softer material because it wasn't really sanding well. We took it inside, and my husband and I were able to lift it. It was a piece of leather. Man, but when I was working on it, it felt really hard, so I really thought it was something else. Anyway, so here I am, remove that part and continue to sand to get all the glue off, to make it more even, and to prepare it for the paint. I wasn't worried about the grit of sandpaper I was using because I wasn't staining it or anything. I wasn't going to paint, so paint usually goes over it and it's fine. So I think at this point I switched to 100 grit to make it a little smoother, and I went ahead and sanded all over the piece and the legs and everything, just lightly sanded. It's not recommended for paints with primer, but it's always a good thing to do. You never know what owners had spilled on it before, what kind of conditions it was in, where it was stored, and stuff like that. I started painting this with a foam roller because it does create a smooth finish after it dries out without leaving any lint or the debris. And again, I know I mentioned it earlier, but I am using a Behr primer plus paint. You don't normally have to use a serum with it, but I am going to use it just so I can create more of a matte look, even though it is matte paint. But the sealer does create more durability and more of a matte finish. The hard to reach spaces, I did use a brush and also on the legs, and I tried to make sure that I made really nice one-way brush strokes so that way, it's all nice and smooth. And you know what? When you see the table, the finished product of it, it actually looks pretty, and it looks like I used a roller and it looks great. As I'm working on this project, I am definitely watching some bad TV. However, I'm totally binge watching this TV show called In the Dark. Anybody who's looking for something to watch during, your me time or work time or just something that easy to get into and just binge watch it, it's totally fun. Very a great mystery and always entertaining. There's always twists to everything in this TV show. I feel like, and it's really fun. Like create that discovery. Totally love it. I didn't want it to be extremely repetitive, so here I go putting on a third coat. I skipped putting on a second, but definitely love how it's turning out. They're doing an incredible job with any type of product that they do. The finish is just incredible. As I put my final coat of the paint, my children came in the room and ended up messing with the hardware. So I kicked them out and decided before I put the sealant, I should put on all the hardware so that way I don't lose any of it because, like I said, it's important piece to my client and they wanted to keep all the original hardware. So here I go quickly putting it together so my kids don't lose the rest of it. Now that the table has received 3 coats of paint and it's nice and dry, it is ready for sealant. I am using Varathane water-based sealant in matte finish. This particular paint did not require to have sealant. However, I wasn't sure how much wear my client was gonna put on this table and how much it was going to be used. So just in case, I went ahead and sealed it with their same matte finish water-based sealant. And I did it 3 times as it is recommended on the container for strong durability. In between each of the coats that I did, I went ahead and lightly sanded it with the fine grit sandpaper. Obviously after it was all dry and ready for that. I had to wait about 24 hours in between each time that I sealed this piece. This is my last step before I put the last coat of sealant. I went all over with fine grit sandpaper and wiped it up, and I'm gonna go put lots of sealant. But no, seriously, I put a lot of it, but I of course smoothed it all out in the end. The project is finally done. This is before and this is after. What a wonderful, wonderful treat. I love how it turned out. If you like this piece, please consider subscribing to my channel. And also, I would like to see any opinions or comments you have. They're all definitely welcome. And I'll see you the next time. Thank you.